Hello, everyone. My name is John, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another episode of Kerbal Space Program Career Mode in .22. So I've learned a lot since our last episode, and I'm going to fill you guys in on everything I have learned thus far from playing this game. Now, I thought this episode we'd take a quick step back from all of our studies abroad, and we've collected a lot of samples from all over the shores of Kerbin, and we've gone to the North Pole, which was a very momentous occasion. We've been high up into space, and now we're getting ready for our next mission to the moon. So right now we're going to talk about science and how to obtain the most possible in any given situation. So right off, what I recommend for you guys when you start this your new career mode, something I just found out from just screwing around, is what you're going to do right off, what I would recommend anyway, is just make a command pod and launch it. I know it sounds a little bit ridiculous, but you'll find out why I'm telling you to do this in a second. So I'm going to fast forward this just so it's day so you guys can see this clearly. So in every mission that you can do in career mode, there's 4 types of way to gather data. The first way is through doing crew reports. Crew reports are in the command pod, and they're just, I guess, observing the instruments or whatever. So the first kind is crew reports. So we're going to keep that data. The second kind is using various lab instruments. You get the Science Junior, thermometers, goo experiments, all kinds of shit like that. The third kind is EVA reports. So we're just going to get outside. So we're going to get an EVA report, which has a scientific value of 2.4. So we're going to keep that data, and then we're even going to take a surface sample. And it even does a surface sample from the launch pad, and it says the surface is charred and coated with burnt rocket propellant. There are also trace amounts of conspicuous green substance. Kind of scared what that means, but we get a 9 scientific value just for not even leaving the launch pad. So we're going to get back in our pod, and we're going to recover the vessel. And just by doing that one thing, you get a total of 12.9 science. That is insane. I think that's actually more than what we got on our very first mission, lifting a rocket, taking it into outer space, and then landing it. So I just want to share you guys that with you guys. Man. So it looks like the interwebs have decided the fate of the ship corporation, and it seems like everyone wants me to get Science Tech, which will allow us more batteries, Science Junior, and the Comms DTS M1, which is actually required for longer range communications the farther away we get from Kerbin. And also it does, the packet size you see here is 2.0. And I can't remember the packet size was for the Communitron 16, but I'm pretty sure it actually relays information faster. Let's see here, where is it? So the packet size is 2.0, but let's see here. So the total throughout is so the interval and the throughput is 0.4 and 0.8 respectively. And for the comms DTS, it's 0.3 and 0.6. So I'm assuming that means it does it in less time, but I'm not really 100% sure. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to research this. So now we're given 3 more options, which kind of further advance our mission. So the first is electrics, which gives us more batteries, photovoltaic cells, and lights. Now, I'm a big fan of that, huge fan of that, and I think I might just go ahead and research that. Or at least I would if it weren't so expensive with 90 science. Like I said in previous videos, I think we're going to shoot for flight control, because that'll give us the Stay Putnik, and then we can put that bad boy in orbit. The only problem is once we actually get it up there, it'll have a limited amount of battery before it just kind of goes kaput. So that's why photovoltaic cells are ideal, and since they cost so much, we're probably going to put off flight control for the time being. Which brings me to my next point. I think we're going to go with general rocketry, and that's because we get a few more options up here. I forget exactly what they are, but right now we still don't really need general construction, and here's why. So we're going to create, we're going to do a quick mission. We're going to go to we're going to go back to the North Pole for this mission. So we're going to get a standard command pod right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to maximize just basically our space that we're the allotted space that we're given. So we're going to plop on a Science Junior. Now we don't really need the Communitron anymore because we got the comms DTS. So we're going to plop that on the back. And then we're going to where are our mystery goo containment units. Something I found also is that you can gain additional intel from having multiple pods of something. So just because you know, you unlock something, you don't just need one. If you get two, you can actually collect double the data, especially if you run out of battery life and you can't relay all the information back. You can get some data from one biome and get some data from the other and keep both. And then, you know, whenever you boost your rockets back up, or, you know, you can transmit the data, or you can just simply recover it when you land back on Kerbin. All right, so now let's put down our fuel tank. And this right here, we're gonna put our, where are they? We're gonna put our landing struts down here. And I think these landing struts are great for exploring anywhere on the planet's surface. Not necessarily, you know, going to other planets or moons. I just think they're a great idea for traveling to other places on the planet itself. Even if you're using a chute, it's always good to have these things because you can always land on really uneven ground. And sometimes what will happen is that if you just deploy a chute, when the fuel tanks hit the ground, even if they're empty, they'll still explode. And that can cause your capsule to get knocked over and prevent Jebediah the ability to do EVA reports and collect surface samples. All right, so now we're going to put our stacked decoupler in. And that completes the first stage. And really the final stage. We're going to put our batteries in. Early on, before you get any ways to create, I guess you could say, more energy, it's ideal to have as many battery packs as you can. Just put them all over the goddamn place, because you're going to need as much batteries life as you can get. Let's plop on our parachute there. All right, what else can we do? Yes, we're going to put on some fuel tanks. We're going to put on, we only need about 3. Another way to maximize your science is to just put a ton of fuel so that you can get really, really high up, almost a straight shot, and not really worry about gravity turns or anything like that. So that way you will penetrate multiple biomes. Something else I learned too is that with the EVA reports, you can actually do one for every biome, and you can store all those reports with Jebediah, and he won't destroy one every time he makes a new one. He'll actually keep all of them. All right, so now we come to the part of why we do not quite yet need general construction. Here's why. We're gonna put down 4 radial decouplers, and with those radial decouplers, we are gonna put down some liquid fuel tanks. I know in the past I've been using solid rocket fuel tanks. We're actually gonna get these as low as we can get them. Oh. All right. Wait. Oh. Might want to let me. All right. There we go. So I know in the past I've been using a lot of solid rocket boosters, but now we're going to use liquid fuel. And then we're going to put our aerodynamic nose cones on there. And then at the bottom, we're going to put our liquid fuel engines. And because of the shape, because there's more surface area on the bottom of the rocket, it'll keep it stable enough so that it won't get infected with the wiggles and get our shit all fucked up. Yeah. I'm such a professor with words. Alright, so this is going to be the Ship Explorer. And I have no idea how many marks we have. So we're going to call this Mark 1 because it is the first official Ship Explorer on its maiden voyage. The other ones were just kind of, whatever. This is an all new design. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and launch this bad boy. So, anyway, we start off on the launch pad. Gonna make sure real quick our staging is accurate. And it's good. Another good way to conserve fuel is just to have your outside boosters fire first, because as long as that meters per second, as long as you're traveling faster, as long as you're traveling fast enough to be rising in altitude, you know, you're pretty much golden. That's all that really matters, especially this early on in the game when you have almost nothing. All right, so we're going to throttle up, and we're going to go ahead. And real quick, we're actually going to grab Jebediah. We're going to do a quick EVA report. We're going to keep that. All right, so I just want to make sure real quick we have all of our science experiments. And see, now this time we have 850 electric charge, when before we only had, I think, maybe 50. So even once we run out of fuel, we'll have plenty of battery to do plenty of experiments. So this brings me to my next point on how to maximize your science. So as soon as you lift off, the first thing you're going to want to do is immediately do a crew report. And you're going to want to transmit that data. And then we're also going to look at our EVA report. We're going to transmit that as well. The reason why is that as long as we are using up our fuel and burning fuel through our engines, it creates an electric charge, and that is stored in our batteries. So as long as our engines are burning, we pretty much have an unlimited electric charge. And now we've reached Kerbin Shores somehow. Not quite sure how that's possible. But yeah, I mean, pretty much we're just going to keep doing this. We'll observe the mystery goo. And it wobbles as the craft flies. So the developers really went all out with the whole biomes and everything, because there really is 100 different ways you can gather intel just in the first 10,000 meters. So we get 17 science value for studying the materials in our science junior while flying away from Kerbin. So we're gonna go ahead and transmit that as well. And now that that's done transmitting, we're pretty much just going to wait for these boosters to burn out. I don't want to do my gravity turn just yet, because I don't want to risk using too much fuel and then getting the craft burning retrograde, and then get everything screwed up. All right, so now we're going to go ahead with our main booster. We've got a full tank of fuel. We're already at 36,000 meters in orbit. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take this time, and let's check our apoapsis real quick. Our apoapsis is at about 140,000 meters, and we've got a full 2 minutes until we reach that. So what we can do is we can throttle down all the way. We got plenty of electric charge. And now we're going to do some experiments. We're going to observe our mystery goo, and we're going to transmit that data. I'm not going to do it with the second container just because it's only a value of 0.5 science. It's not really a whole lot, and I could probably even get less if I do it a second time. Then we're going to go ahead and do another crew report. See, the crew report there is 0. I can't get any data. The real what you're going to get most of your data from is EVA reports. EVA reports are amazing, and here's why. So you recorded your observations about the situation, so you can actually do EVA reports from space just above Kerbin Shores. So what you could actually technically do is just get into a full orbit and just orbit around the Earth doing EVA reports every time you get over the ice caps, every time you get over the mountains, the shores, and every time you do that EVA report. It's not just about where you are in space, it's about where you are above Kerbin. So we're going to go ahead and keep that data simply because we don't have any way to transmit that directly from the suit. And we're going to review that stored data, and we're going to transmit it. We've got a total scientific value of 8 sciences. Ton of science. All right. So now we're going to look at our Science Junior. We're going to observe the materials bay. And it says the microgravity has greatly affected the growth of crystalline structures. Loose objects are also flying around the bay in a very messy but fascinating way. So now we get a scientific value of 25 while studying in space near Kerbin. So we're going to go ahead and transmit that. So I think the percentage for the scientific value is that, I think I figured it out. I'm not 100% sure quite yet, But from what I understand is that when you do these experiments, it has a scientific value of 21.4 if you keep the data and look at that data when you recover the vessel as it lands. But if you just simply transmit it, you're only going to get 20% of what you could get. So on that note, we're actually going to, well, let's see. We're going to see how close we are to our apoapsis. So we're about 45 seconds out. So we're actually going to transmit this again just because we have so much electric charge that we can afford it, because we got a ton of batteries and we still got plenty of fuel to burn. So even if we burn out most of our electric charge, we'll still have plenty left over. So we're going to do another EVA report, see if we can find out anything new from Jebediah. And we get a total of 8 science just from observing the Kerbin's grasslands. We're going to board the ship, and we are going to review that stored data. Now we're actually going to keep that data just because, like I said, every time you get into above a certain biome, you can keep every EVA report that you do. So with that note, we're going to fly above the North Pole. And hopefully do some more science above there. So what we're going to try to do right now is get into a full low orbit above Kerbin. And once we achieve that, we're going to just go around and do an EVA report and get various samples. And while we're burning fuel, we're going to do a crew report. And we don't really get anything from that. We're going to observe the mystery goo. We get a scientific value of 1.3, so we're going to go ahead and transmit that data. We're going to go back to our world map. So we're getting pretty close to our... Well, we're still a ways out. We got probably another 10-15 seconds before we reach that. Alright, so we're going to do observe the materials bay real quick, and then we're going to transmit that data. So now we have just about reached the complete orbit. And we are going to cut the throttle. Alright, so there we go. We made it to a full orbit, and we still got a little bit of fuel to burn. So what we're going to do right now, so we're going to get a bunch of various reports. Keep all these datas. We're going to keep it, and then we're going to keep it. So now what we're going to do, so we're going to transmit all this data. Okay, and review that data. We're going to transmit that as well. For some reason, there's a little glitch that when you review the data and then decide to transmit it while the comms unit is still deployed, it sometimes gets confused and it simply just packs up and doesn't relay that information back to the ship corporation or whatever your space control might be. So now we're going to go ahead and burn that last bit of fuel. Well, I think we can afford to do one more EVA report. Just going to get that. We're going to keep that data. We're going to get back in. We're going to view the stored data. And we're going to transmit the said datas. All right. All right, awesome. So now what we're going to do is we're going to burn that remaining bit of fuel and see how much we can, see how much electric charge so we are all the way back up to 134 electric charge. Not a ton, but definitely something we can work with. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our world map, and we're going to fast forward. We're going to, well, first we're going to throttle down. Then we're going to fast forward until we get right above Kerbin's ice caps. So there we go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick... Whoa, what are you doing? This is kind of... Oh, never been up here before. All right, so you recorded observations about the situation. So it seems like we're a little bit too high. Usually should be... Ideally, a suborbital path is about about 100,000 meters above the surface, so we're a bit high for that. So we only get 8 scientific value because we're simply just looking at at Kerbin, the planet in general. So what we're gonna do then is we're gonna burn a little bit retrograde. All right, and unfortunately, with because of these little puddle jumper engines, we are not going to get any more electric charge. All right, now let's see. And actually, I think what we're just going to do is we're going to speed up a little bit. And what we're going to try to do right now is burn retrograde and see if we can land on the surface of Antarctica, because we never did make it before. And we're going to see now if we can do it. So we're going to use up all of our fuel and see if we can bring down our periapsis all the way to Antarctica. And we're getting there, and looks like we've made it. So we're going to go ahead and cut our throttle. And we're going to wait till we get down to about 100,000 meters. So we can get a little bit better view of the surface. Oh my God, that looks beautiful. Oh, that looks so beautiful. The only thing I didn't really think about is that if the Kerbin southern ice caps are anything like the Earth's southern ice caps, Antarctica is actually, believe it or not, holds the world's largest and most treacherous mountain range. Technically, it is all, most of it's underwater, but some of it's above ground. It also has the world's largest desert, because desert is technically just a large open plain of either I think it is of extreme climate. I don't remember the exact technical definition. So we're going to go ahead, since we're already back on the surface. I fucked up there a little bit. So we're not going to be able to get that extra EVA report, unfortunately. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wait till we get a little bit lower. And if you do come in too fast, you do always run the risk of snapping your parachute. It doesn't really happen very often to me, but you'll find out in your own missions that you conduct yourselves that when you are trying to land on uneven surfaces or just in areas of the planet that are not at sea level, that if you come in too hot, it is very possible to snap your parachute. So I'm just going to go ahead here and kill my velocity. Not entirely, but we just want to bring it down a little bit so we're barely falling at all. Really, we just want to get that retrograde meter pointing straight up. All right, we ran out of fuel. I kind of wanted to try to land with just the booster, but it doesn't seem like that's really going to be an option at this point. Oh well. Anyway, we're down to about almost 1,000 meters above the surface. So we're going to go ahead and retract our landing gear by pressing G. So we can retract all of them at once. And we're also going to deploy our chute. And there you have it. And now we are going to safely travel down to the surface of Kerbin at the South Pole. I had to think about it for a second. Sorry, there's just like 1,000 different things running through my head, just exploding. Because I've been playing this game quite a bit today. I know I said I wouldn't really try to explore much further. I really didn't. I just wanted to see how much I could exploit the various different ways of obtaining science in this game. So I didn't really go any further with advancements in science or anything like that. I just really want to show you guys the different ways you could get science, and also have our own space station, have our own space exploration program benefit from this, because we are going to get quite a bit of science from this, I'm hoping. So we get a value of 7 science, so we're going to keep that data. I'm going to observe the mystery goo. We're going to keep that. observe the other mystery goo containment unit. We're going to observe, we're going to keep that. We're going to do another crew report. Actually, we're going to toss that. Do another crew report. We're going to keep that. And then we're going to do a quick EVA, and we're going to make sure that we get... God damn it. You'd think the guy would just, like, somehow be able to, like, jump off that. I guess that thing is probably, like, 30 feet tall. I mean, it's pretty tall. I mean, if Jebediah is, like, I don't know, maybe, like, 6 foot. Who knows? That's not really important right now. So we're going to plant the flag. And I don't think we really get any science from this, but the hell with it. And we're going to call this we're going to call this the Southern Ice Caps. All right. And then we see our lovely tree as we have explored Antarctica. I think all I'd have to do is just make this all black and white, and I could just say we made it to the moon, you know? We could do that. All right, so now we're going to get another EVA report. So we're going to report from the Kerbin's ice caps, and now we're going to collect a surface sample. So we got a sample from Kerbin's ice caps. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. And actually, real quick, I do want to let you guys know that if you do touch down in water, thanks to a comment, you can actually still get your EVA reports and even get a water sample from touching down in the water. You can still get all the same thing. And sometimes you can even get more science from solid ground, depending on where you land in the water, whether it's towards the equator or in the Arctic Ocean, things like that. So, for some reason, Jebediah, his jetpack, since these jetpacks are very low thrust, something I did not think about prior is that they really don't work anywhere other than space or anywhere without an atmosphere. So we actually don't have the thrust required to get him back up to the crew hatch, which is fine. So we're actually going to send the choppers out and recover Jebediah. And we're going to see how much science we got from him. So we actually got 11 science just from the EVA report from the ice caps and the surface samples. So we got 11 science total just from the past minute of exploring the surface. So now we're going to go to the center, and we're going to get the Ship Explorer Mach 1. We're going to cover that. And we get a whopping 19.7 science. Now, you could get a lot more if you go to other places like the moon or other planets. And that way you can get a lot more science. So let's see what we have now. We have 75 science. So we could research a ton of stuff. We can get general construction, which would give us bigger radial decouplers, launch stability enhancers, which are awesome. Those are amazing. But like I said, we don't really need them right now. We can also get electrics. Well, actually, we can't. Those are all 90 science. We don't have quite enough right now. We do have the ability to get flight control, and we could put a satellite in space. And then we can also have general rocketry, which gives us a little bit more options of fuel and boosters. So it's really up to you guys what you want to do next. So is it going to be general rocketry, general construction, flight control? Or would you like me to venture out, get a little more science, and get those electrics so we can finally get those photovoltaic cells that we so desperately need, or space exploration? I don't really see landing as a necessity right now. So we're going to leave it up to these 5 options. But I think definitely something we need for sure is general rocketry. Actually, because we do really need that, and I told you guys I'm going to show you what the next advances were, I actually am going to go ahead and research that. So now we have advanced rocketry, general construction, and flight control. And since flight control is only 45 science, we are going to go ahead and research that. So that opens up advanced flight control, and aerodynamics. So it looks like we've got some amazing new advancements, and I think what we're going to do in next episode is we're going to put a satellite in space, and we are going to attach a little booster to it just so we can gather as much intel as we can, and then just send as much back as we can to space control, and then just fly it into the side of the planet that way. And we're just going to kind of try to get as much science as we can, and then research electrics. Or if you guys want, I can always just run a few extra missions outside of the videos. Just do a couple boring, like orbital flights, or keep going back to the ice caps, stuff that we've already done, and just kind of get enough science that next time I make the next video, we will have the amount of science available to research electrics, just to make things a little more interesting. And also, I know I've been looking at the YouTube videos, and I understand you guys cannot see jack shit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my name is John, and this has been Kerbal Space Program. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope doing more tutorials like this in the future. So please like, comment, do what you guys do, and let me know if you really like this series, and I'll keep doing it. And also let me know if you'd like me to do some more tutorial videos outside of the series, the main series like this, and I'd love to do that. As always, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.